Hey kids, Flexing Teacher Weber here. Hope you're having a good day. We've now moved on from multiplication of fractions to looking at multiplication of mixed numbers. Now the way we started this is we didn't actually start out multiplying mixed numbers. We just started with a problem. And I gave the kids this problem. My daughter Addison went to preschool for 3.5 hours a day for 4 days and went for half that time on the 5th day. For how long did Addison go to preschool in one 5-day week? Well, what many of the kids did to solve this is they added up a bunch of fractions, which is really a great way to do this. So what they did is they said, okay, you've got days and you've got hours. And on day 1, she went for 3.5 hours. On day 2, 3.5 hours. On day 3, 3.5 hours. On day 4, 3.5 hours. And then on day 5, she only went for half the time. So what you can do is you can say, okay, well, half of 3 is 1 5/10. And she went for half of a half, so that's a quarter, or 0 25/100. So that means she went for 1.75 hours on that 5th day. Or we might say, if we're thinking fractions, 1 3/4 hours. And then you can get this by adding up your fractions. Those two add up to 7. Those two add up to 7. And we still have to add on the 1 3/4. And so that adds up to 15 3/4 hours, or 15 hours, 45 minutes. So that's what many of the kids did. They did some form of adding to get the answer. Then what I asked them to do, I thought we would look at it as a multiplication question. So my daughter went to preschool for 3.5 hours a day. So 3.5 hours a day. And she did that for 4.5 days, remember? Because she went for half the time in the last day. So really we can think of it as 3.5 groups of 4.5, or 3.5 groups times 4.5. Now what I showed the kids is that a lot of kids make this mistake. They go, oh, that's easy. Okay, that's easy to do. 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. And a half times a half is a quarter. So that means she went to school for 12.25 hours. But wait a second. We said she went to school for 15 hours, 15 3/4 hours. So clearly something's wrong here. And what's wrong is, of course, we didn't multiply all the parts, right? If we're truly multiplying these mixed numbers, we not only have to multiply the 4 and the 3 and the half, we have to multiply the 3 times the half and the 4 times the half. And we're missing those, right? We're missing all the different parts that we're multiplying. So the way to do this is to change both mixed numbers into improper fractions. So we do that by saying, okay, 3 times 2 is 6. Add on the 1 makes 7 over 2. And 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9 over 2. Now at this point we would look and try to simplify the diagonals. We can't, so we just multiply 7 times 9 and 2 times 2, and we get 63 over 4. And remember, that's a division question. 4 goes into 63 15 times, remainder 3 out of 4. So my daughter Addison went to school for 15 3/4 hours, which matches what we did when we added them up. And of course, this is not the way to do that. That is not good. No good. So that's going to be our focus in this section, is the multiplication of mixed numbers. You start by changing them to improper fractions. you simplify any common factors and the numerators and denominators, and then you multiply and change back to a mixed number if necessary. In the next video I make, we're going to do a bunch of multiplying of mixed numbers and also do some estimating as well. It's a short one, but that's all for now, and make sure you watch the second video. Flexing Teacher Weber, ouch.